All right, let's do it live on a Thursday edition. Merely Bo, the Great Z. We're back, baby. Football tonight.
Finally, the NFL has come back to our homes. Let's go. Oh, boy, I am giddy. I'm excited. Woke up this morning, said to Miss K, happy football day. She's like, boy, you're really excited about this.
Well, mornings, you usually wake up ready to roll.
Oh, baby.
Ready to go?
Ready to go, right out of bed.
A lot of juice bouncing around.
If you're juiceless, you're useless.
That's exactly right.
And I don't want to be that. So, no, I'm pumped, man. This is an exciting time of year for me. Really, I've gotten myself.
Why limit it to just you? Can we all be excited?
Everybody, yeah.
We're all excited. I mean, This is the fall. It's Ohio. This is Apex, Ohio right
we're
now.
On football straight through to Christmas.
We're locked in.
We got everything. It's all ahead of us.
Yeah.
It's really, I've gotten to the point where, 9 months out of the year are pretty awesome. Maybe 8. But you got to travel in those other ones, and then it's all great.
You got to get it out of town in February, March, and April.
Yeah.
And if you do that, then you're all right. You can make it work. Especially when you've got if you have that long postseason run.
Well, the good news is that we're going to be playing well into February. So
yeah. I was thinking about this. We're men. We're 40.
Indeed.
Last year, 93 of the top-rated things on television were NFL football games. Three others, the top 100, were college football games.
Right.
So a total of 96 of 100 top-rated shows on television last year were football. The other one of the other ones was Kentucky Derby. There was a March Madness
was it
final.
A World Cup or something?
Yeah, I think it was. It was that. Yeah, it might have been a World Cup. Those type. It was all sports. There was nothing that wasn't sports. It was all sports. Yep. But it was all NFL. So then I started thinking a little bit about the NFL and our relationship with it, and we talked yesterday about the Cowboys a little bit and said, it was you got 2 games at 1 o'clock, 1 game at 4:25. If you were in the East, for me it was what would it have been? It would have been 11, and it would have been 2 or whatever at that time. But there was no Sunday night, and then you got Monday Night Football, and that was it. So you could watch at the most 4 games, and most people didn't have 2 televisions at that time, so you really could only watch 3 games.
Right.
Is what you really could watch, and then you were bouncing in the 1 o'clock window, and that was kind of it. To where we are now, where you're talking about 93 of the top 100 are NFL games, where you've got a game tonight, Friday night. We got games all day Sunday. Obviously, ours at 4:25, Sunday night, Monday night, all of it. Everyone's watching all of it. They're playing the hits right out of the gates. So the apex of baseball was around the late 70s, was the most popular baseball ever was as a television sport.
Really?
Television sport. I mean, it was probably more popular in the 30s and 40s, 50s, but in terms of biggest audience, the biggest audience World Series was 78. So it was Dodgers and Yankees. Okay. The highest was 50 million people in the United States watched that in 78.
In my mind,
average
I feel
44.9.
In my mind, I feel like it would have peaked with McGuire Sosa that year.
Oh, no. Oh,
not even close.
No. 78 was the apex. 50 million. 50 million.
That's a big number.
Which is huge. That was the high. Game 6, I think, of that World Series was 50 million. But the average was 44. Last year, the World Series averaged 9 million.
I was going to say 5. 9
million was what the World Series was. By the way, the population of the United States went from 150 million to 300 million during that time, and so a third of the people watched the World Series. Basketball's apex, the highest-rated finals.
80s?
98. Jordan. So it's Jordan against the Jazz. It's the flu game, his last of his 6.
That's the highest-rated finals.
Yeah, it was the average was around, I think, 28, 29 million is what that was.
And what, they get 7 this year?
11.
11.
Okay. 11. So basketball's lost a third of its audience. Baseball's lost 3/4 of its audience, 80% of its audience. Football in 1978, the Super Bowl was 110 million. So it was still the biggest show. Even in those days, it was the biggest show of the year at that time. Last year's Super Bowl was 125 million. So football is not only the only sport, and when I say sport, I'm including college football in it, that is actually trending up. College football continues to trend up. Twice as many people watched Ohio State, Michigan as watched the World Series.
Yeah.
Which is impossible to wrap your head around when we were kids, that a regional college football game would outrate the World Series. But it did, and in fact doubled it. So you get back to the NFL side of it, and you think, from an entertainment entity, football is the best bet in entertainment. It's the only sure thing in entertainment that you will get your return on. There's a reason you made 80% more in this television package than you did in the one previous, which is an astronomical number. Might be a bargain.
Yeah.
Really might be, because of what this audience, what you all crave as an audience, what you're tracking down, what you're watching – It is football, football, and more football.
It's the only destination viewing. Got to see it.
It's it. Got to see it live.
Got to see it live. And you do. And, oh, baby, we are ready to roll. And I am certainly very excited about that.
Yeah, it's when you think about how we consume things. Go ahead.
Just like I would venture that this Peacock Friday night game will outdo NBA Finals or the World Series.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, it doesn't take much.
No.
It's 12. If you do 12 million, you do it. And I mean, Friday night's usually a tough spot from a rating standpoint.
Philly, though.
Philly's pretty big, and then it's the Packers. They played the hits. I mean, that's the other thing. Like, you're getting Chiefs and Ravens tonight. You're getting Packers and Eagles on Friday. Honestly, where that game is played is so irrelevant. I don't understand this at all.
Could have been played in Philly or in Green Bay, and it would have been great.
It would have been great. The idea that
Lambeau Field on a Friday night lights at Lambeau Field.
I don't understand the notion
Come on,
that
baby.
I don't know what I know what he's going for. I heard Goodell's comments. I know what the owners are going for in this sense. Like, it's a new market, so forth and so on. But like, would it made any difference if this was a preseason game versus a regular season game?
No, but I don't know
down
if
there,
anybody would have been willing to go down there for. I don't know if anybody would have been willing to go down there for a preseason game.
Why is it different if it's regular season?
Because at least it matters. The outcome of the game matters.
Sort of. Yeah, sort of it does. I mean,
it does. Every
you're,
game matters
you're playing
in the NFL.
17 games, so it is, but it's not.
They still matter.
Yeah, but there's more of a margin, I think.
Sure.
I'm anti it. I wish they weren't doing it. I think it's tough. I feel bad for the teams that are down there. When we thought we were going to be in the mix, I was not looking forward for that for you guys in terms of all of it.
I'm thrilled.
Go ahead, Gibby.
I believe DC Jim Schwartz might be a few minutes early.
Oh,
he might be at the podium.
You tell me when. You tell me when, Gibby.
Kev, you got him?
Yep, I got him just now. Let's head off to the podium to hear from Jim Schwartz.
Couldn't have said it better, Kev.
Well, as long as this works, then we'll just do it now.
You're down.
I like it because it puts me on a hard deadline because I got to get out to practice. So always have an easy escape from tough questions. Okay, fire away.
Been getting ready for him for months. What are you seeing?
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. All the stats across the board, high completion percentage and yards. He can make something out of nothing when it comes to plays breaking down using his legs. Doesn't run quite as much as he used to, but he's mainly running with a purpose now, buying time to find plays down the field. And then running in high leverage situations, red zone, short yardage, and those kind of things. It's a tough matchup right off the bat. One of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. So, we have to play our very best when you're competing against a quarterback like Dak Prescott.
He began watching film of the Cowboys soon after that schedule came out. Did you have your guys do that, or what do you think of him doing that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of our guys like to look ahead. We did that as a coaching staff. That was nothing that we sort of demanded from the players or put in front of the players. We've had some times in training camp, different times, I think even at the end of mini camp or OTAs where we had a Dallas period. But, most of the time through training camp, our focus was on us and our scheme and what we're doing as opposed to what an opponent was doing. We've all had this earmarked for a long time, bookmarked, whatever you want to call it. So it's been on top of our mind for a long time, even when we've had other jobs in the moment.
Last time we talked to you, you mentioned not having your starting guys out there because of injuries. Do you feel like in the last week or two you've gotten guys back that you've been able to get enough reps to be ready for week one?
Well, I guess we'll see. It is a concern of mine. We have really good players, and I have confidence in all of them. But, we just haven't been out there together a lot. Now, they have in the past, but, through no fault of anybody's, of any own person, we've had a lot of time missed in training camp. Can't remember when it was. Maybe it was Monday. It was Monday of this week. The days sort of run together, but we had like a walkthrough, and we had like all our dudes out there at the same time, and you could just really feel the energy. You could feel those guys, out there, and And it was good to feel that. You guys know as a defense, we feed off each other. We're a team that that brings a lot of excitement to each other and things like that, and that's part of our DNA. That's part of what we do, and it's hard to replicate it unless the guys are out there. So it is a concern. But we also have some veteran players, and we've been able to work a lot of the communication and things like that. Nothing, there's really no substitute for the real thing, but we'll get enough of that as we go along.
Way back in to the point where he didn't get a full game out of himself on Sunday?
We're going to keep an eye on things with him, but a couple months ago when I heard of his injury, it was like, oh boy, I didn't even think of Dallas. And then every step along the way, he has not only cleared the hurdles, but he's cleared them with a lot of room to spare. Just like we talked before, Greg is a guy that brings a lot of energy to us, and it's not just his play on the field, whether he's playing nickel or playing corner. We missed him when he wasn't out there. We'll have eyes on guys when it comes to long drives and number of snaps in the games. I don't think anybody's going to be on a quote pitch count, but a lot of times you do that in openers anyway. But we'll have a few guys, especially eyes on just to make sure fatigue doesn't end up being a factor, which could lead to an aggravation or a new injury.
CeeDee Lamb, they throw it to him a ton. You know it's coming. So how do you stop it?
Yeah, leader in receptions, leader in targets last year. Obviously, the go-to guy in their offense. They move him around all over the place. We have a good key on where he's going to be, because he wears number 88, so we'll be able to find him. I like our matchups. This is NFL football, man. This is awesome. One of the best receivers in the NFL, and what I consider the best corner group in the NFL. And you guys know we play a lot of man-to-man, so it's going to be fun to watch those guys. Even if we're man, it's not always going to be no help. We're going to have little different ways, whether we're putting pressure on to try to help that way, or we have leverage help or over-the-top help and things like that. It's not going to be one person or a one-on-one most of the time, but it's a great matchup, and it'll be exciting to watch.
Feelings on attacking two rookie linemen in their first NFL game?
Yeah, we like our matchups usually on the offensive line, and anytime we get a chance to play rookies. Now, I'd say this, Tony, both of those guys looked really good in the preseason, right? But first game, we can present some tough matchups. We talked about CeeDee Lamb presenting tough matchups. Well, we got guys that can do that too, and I'm sure they'll have plans for it. Just like we said, it's very rarely going to be one person with no help. I'm sure they'll take the same approach, whether it's with their center or with their left tackle. And you'll see a lot of different alignments, a lot of different matchups from us along the way, which is sort of normal for us.
Going back to the injuries, while you had guys out, was there a silver lining that you were able to develop some guys, maybe feel better about the depth going into the opener than maybe, especially with some of the young guys?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I don't know. Again, you like having your guys out there and making that progress. And, it's a stupid saying, but I always tell the guys our job in training camp is to make 1 + 1 = 3, right? The sum has to be greater than our individual parts. And that's, Denzel Ward playing off of Myles Garrett and, just everything else. And we just didn't have time on task doing that. We'll get it back, but other guys did get a lot of reps. And I think in a perverse way, some of our injuries might have even got our guys, as long as we're back from those injuries, might have even kept them fresh through training camp. So you can look at it a lot of ways, but, when it's all said and done, the final score is going to be the final score. And there's not going to be a curve of who practiced in training camp or who didn't, or who's back and who's hurt or whatever. Final score is the final score.
Back to the rookie linemen in preseason, do you see flinches by them or They haven't played in front of a big crowd.
Yeah, obviously we played better at home last year. I hope we play as good, if not better, at home this year. I hope we play a little bit better on the road. But part of us playing at home is our home crowd, making it difficult. Making it difficult for guys to hear crowd or to hear the quarterback signals. They put a lot on Dak Prescott to command the line of scrimmage. Their runs, almost all their runs have check with me, whether they're looking for down safeties, whether they're looking for the bubble, different things like that. He has bailouts a lot all over the passing game. And it makes it difficult when an opponent is at our place because our fans are so into it and so loud. And they'll be ready. I mean, we got a little time before the game. They know what time it is. And they'll play a big part in this game. In some ways, Tony, it makes it a little more difficult for us because of the loud crowd. It puts more of an emphasis on our communication, and it's harder for us to communicate. But I think that's outweighed by making it harder for the offensive lineman to hear and the quarterback to be able to make those checks easily.
Miles has managed to find another level every year. That's what the great ones do. First of all, what does it say about him that he continues to strive for that, and what do you see as the next level for him?
Yeah, it's been impressive to watch. I've mentioned a couple players that I've coached in the past that had a similar attitude and a similar trajectory. Ray Lewis and Calvin Johnson. And no matter how good they were hungry for more. They were hungry. They didn't really compare themselves to others. They were worried about their own performance and improvements that they could make. And Miles is no different that way. He's an impact player for us. He changes the whole scheme. Sometimes it makes it hard for us to scout because what you see on tape, okay, the center slides this way versus this formation, or they use this kind of protection, or they run this way in the run game. A lot of that goes out the window when you have a guy like Miles because they'll have a Miles plan. And we've gotten better at recognizing those kind of things and try to play off. I mean, so when I was in Detroit, we had Calvin Johnson, and it was the same thing. It really didn't matter what a team did the week before. They were going to cover Calvin a lot different than they did anybody else, and the great players have that. And I'd say this, and I think I might have even said this before. In my mind, the definition of a great player is when the opponent's number one job is to try to take them out of the game plan, and they still have success. Calvin Johnson, everybody led their game plan. Calvin Johnson's not wrecking our game. Still was able to wreck games. Every single opponent we have, they start their game plan with how do we account for 95. So, he's with the effectiveness that he had, even with that target on his back. I said about C.D. Lamb, we know he wears number 88, so he's easy to find. Well, when you're 6'4", 275 and wear number 95, it's pretty easy to find you too. He's still able to be successful. So that's such an impressive thing to watch.
Speaking about the home and away splits, with the away games, bringing that energy and kind of making your own energy on that defense side of the ball, how do you plan on getting that out of your defense?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't consider it when you say sound. I don't think that was. It wasn't like we were sound at home and unsound on the road. But it was there, and it was something that we talked about, and some of it. Again, you hate to put too much into a small sample size and say, hey, this was a problem, this wasn't. Maybe it was just the way a game worked out, or getting up to an early lead and then emptying the bench and things like that. So it's been an item for discussion. It's been something we talked about, but it's nothing that we're spending a lot of time on right now. We'll cross that bridge in Jacksonville next week.
Guys who are coming back from injury, and they have some personal goals to achieve for themselves, and they talked about it. Like one I'm thinking of specifically. For you as a coach, how much do you play into that and let them get excited about their individual efforts and goals in addition to what they want to do as a team?
Well, we always celebrate the individual, but our main goal is us as a team and us as a defense. So, yeah, we certainly want to celebrate the individual, and we want everybody to be successful. But we have a lot of unselfish players, and everybody knows that the team comes before them, and the team's performance means more than individual performances in this business. Okay? All right, guys.
All right, there you go. That was from the podium presented by Vivid Seats. Purchase your official fan experience package today for the ultimate game day. Before that, those were your hot topics of the day presented by University Hospitals, official healthcare partner of your Cleveland Browns. We'll get into tonight's matchup. We will get into our matchup coming up next against the Dallas Cowboys. Our defense versus the Cowboy offense. What can you expect to see? What is the plan for slowing down CeeDee Lamb? It's game week, kids. It's Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Howard Hanna, the official real estate provider of your Cleveland Browns. When it comes to buying or selling, you need a reliable team to guide you through the process. As the market leaders in Northeast Ohio, more buyers and sellers trust Howard Hanna to be their home team. Save time and money. Visit howardhanna.com/go Browns today. Time for the matchup. It is your top-ranked Browns defense from a year ago against a very explosive Cowboys offense, but they're a little different than they were a year ago. Dr. Z?
Yeah, they are. This is a very good offense. Number 1 in the league in points per game. Number 5 in total yards. Number 3 passing. They are a very explosive offense, and it all starts with Dak Prescott. I got to tell you, now that I feel very comfortable with both these rosters, obviously ours, but now I'm done. The boards are done. I'm ready to
You're
go.
color coded.
Early on a Thursday.
You're really
too.
early on a Thursday. Usually that's a work day for you.
Early on a Thursday. Oh, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got in there and I
You're
did
ready.
it. Oh, I'm so ready. Dak Prescott last year, 70% completions, 4,516 yards, 36 touchdowns to lead the NFL, 9 picks, 106 rating, added 242 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground. He did not play at all in the preseason, for those wondering. He is a free agent at the end of the year, and I know he is not happy that he does not have a new contract. What's amazing about Dak Prescott and just how good he was last year, 36 touchdowns, first Cowboy to ever lead the NFL in that stat. 410 completions led the NFL. Completion percentage was second. His rating was second. His yards were third. He was a Pro Bowler, second team All-Pro, and second in the MVP vote behind only Lamar Jackson.
He was?
Yeah, second in the MVP voting last year.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That he finished second in that.
He is elite down the field on passes of 10 to 19 yards in the air. 10.4 yards per attempt, 60.5% completions, 14 touchdowns, most in the NFL, 128 rating, second in the NFL. 20 or more yards in the air. 14 yards per attempt, 128 rating, third in the NFL. Under pressure, you think pressure, that's going to disrupt him. First in completion percentage, first in yards, second in yards per attempt, second in quarterback rating. Dak has led starting quarterbacks in points per game each of the last 4 seasons, tied for the longest streak in NFL history with some jabron from a long time ago. In 20, they averaged 32.6 points. 21 was 31.9. 22 was 30. 23, 29.9. Yeah, any guesses as to who that was?
I'm guessing he had something he had to get off his back. He had to get it off his back because it was so much pressure.
I couldn't even bear to write it in legible.
Hardly write it.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Now, if there is one thing, can't blitz him either. Top 3 completion percentage, yards per attempt, yards rating, all against the blitz at a rating 110. He does have some pretty bad home road splits. That is, if you're looking for a silver lining, what's the weakness? On the road last year, 4-5, 92 rating, 66% completion, 6.8 yards per attempt, 14 touchdowns, 6 picks. That's the bad. Because at home, 8-0 last year, 120 rating, 74% completions, 9 yards an attempt, 22 touchdowns, 3 picks at home.
Jeez.
So Dak Prescott's really, really good. Now, their line, we kind of just big picture talked about it yesterday, but their line I find is very interesting. So similar to us. We have the best guard tandem in the AFC, they have the best guard tandem in the NFC.
Yep.
Zach Martin, 9-time Pro Bowler, 7-time first-team All-Pro. Tyler Smith on the other side was a Pro Bowler and second-team All-Pro last year. Their right tackle is not good. Terrence Steele, 8 sacks, 54 pressures last year. I think they can get after him as a former undrafted free agent. Their left tackle, Tyler Guyton, is an athletic freak, 6'7", 322 pounds. He was honorable mention Big 12 last year.
Sheesh.
He has only started 14 games in college, all at right tackle. He did not start playing football until senior year of high school. So this is not someone who has this vast wealth of knowledge and experience playing left tackle, and he's going to deal with Myles Garrett. The center, and now he did look good in the preseason, had some nice reps against Max Crosby. The center, Cooper Beebe out of Kansas State, third-round pick, 3-time first-team Big 12, played guard and tackle in college, not center. He will start at center. This is the first time he's ever started at center at any level of football.
It's wild.
So we've got to get after them there. Their running game, I am not that scared of. Ezekiel Elliott last year averaged a career low 3.5 yards a carry, hasn't averaged over 4 yards a carry in multiple seasons. They've got Rico Dowdle, who's got for his career 361 yards 385 yards rushing, 4 yards a carry. That's his career total. And then Deuce Vaughn, who has 1.7 yards per carry for his career. They do have Dalvin Cook on the practice squad, but it seems like as of now he will not be up for this game. So Dak's great. They've got 2 great guards. They've got a Pro Bowl tight end, Ferguson, 71 catches, 761 yards, and 5 touchdowns last season. And then it's really about CeeDee Lamb. Now, CeeDee Lamb, 3 straight Pro Bowls last year, set Dallas Cowboys records for receptions and yards. He had 135 catches, 1,749 yards, 12 touchdowns. Also had 113 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. 8 games with more than 100 yards, 7 with 10 or more receptions. He had an NFL record 3 straight games with 10 catches and more than 150 yards. So it was a historic 23. His 1,862 total yards, that led the NFL. His 14 touchdowns were the most by any receiver. His 7 games with 10 or more catches, second most in NFL history. As we said, Dallas franchise records, led the NFL with receptions, was second in receiving yards only to Tyreek Hill. His yards, his touchdowns, and his receptions have all increased every year he's been in the league. He just signed a 4-year, $136 million contract, 100 guaranteed, second highest non-quarterback ever, behind only Justin Jefferson. And then here's the one that jumped out to me when I was getting into some of the advanced stuff. CeeDee Lamb against man coverage last year, 49 catches, 794 yards, both most in the NFL. Here's the other thing. Dak Prescott, number 1 in EPA among all quarterbacks in the league against zone. So, we've got a great zone quarterback. They've got a great everything receiver and man receiver. And, oh, by the way, they have Brandon Cooks as their other receiver who last year, 54 catches, 657 yards, 8 touchdowns as well. A guy who has 6 1,000-yard seasons with 4 different teams.
Yep.
If he has 1,000 this year, he'll become the first player to ever have 1,000 yards with 5 different teams in the National Football League. So their skill is there. Now, the Browns match up well, right? We're the best home defense. He was a poor on the road. We're the best vertical pass defense in the league. He was the best vertical passing quarterback in the league. So it's going to be, I think, a very, very wild game. It is going to be, you've got to pressure him. It's going to be tough to do it without the blitz, but we have got to dominate their tackles. We have got to dominate those tackles. That will be the way, and hopefully confuse the rookie center. I'm advocating, I don't know what we're going to do. My guess is we'll play our typical defense because, as Jim Schwartz said, we've got the best corners in the league. I'd love to just double CeeDee Lamb every single play, put Denzel on Brandon Cooks and say, okay,
we dare you.
Do what you're going to do. Now, Dak is going to make some great throws, and some of those are going to beat, but that feels like the way to do it. Now, pressure points on here, third downs. Last year, Dallas, the number 2 third down offense in the league, 48% conversions. We all know this. The Browns, the number 1 third down defense in the league, allowing just 29% conversions. So that's something certainly to keep an eye on. This is also, people should know, the Browns last year allowed the fewest first downs in the league, 14.9. Dallas averaged the most first downs in the league, 22.6. This is the first ever Week 1 game between the reigning passing touchdown leader and the reigning number 1 pass defense. That's never happened in Week 1 in an NFL season before. It will happen this Sunday. So that's really their top 10 and everything on offense. We're top 10 and often, in many cases, 1 on everything on defense. But those were last year's numbers. The thing that really jumps out to me the most after getting into these boards, and I'll talk about it from the offensive standpoint now, and then we'll talk defense later, is if I was a Cowboys fan, I'd be hot.
Yeah.
They've done nothing. They've lost a lot, added very, very little. Offensively, the big only addition is Ezekiel Elliott, and I don't think that's a big addition, unfortunately, at this point in his career. Tyron Smith is gone, and he's being replaced by a rookie who's never played left tackle. I think that's wild. It's going to be a fun one, though. They're very, very good. Dak Prescott is very, very good. CeeDee Lamb is elite. And it is going to be you talk about good versus good right out of the gate. Again, I think the advantage and where this game must be won for the Cleveland Browns on defense is our defensive line against this inexperienced offensive line, with the exception, obviously, of the great guards. Not a great right tackle, not a great, we don't know, left tackle, first-round pick, first start, and a center making his first start at that position at any level in football. That's where we have got to win this game.
This is 425 Fox National Tom Brady debut for a reason, and the biggest reason is what you just did, this matchup. Myles Garrett and this defense against Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and that offense. That's the headliner. This is the strength versus strength. On the other side, they have some strength stuff too. We've got some strength stuff, but this is the one you pay the money for. It's for this matchup of these two things. We touched on this a little bit yesterday. I don't know what Jerry is doing, because I think if they would have had an aggressive offseason, they could be right there with Detroit and San Francisco, and if you want to put Philly in there too, they're right there as a team that could go win the Super Bowl, certainly play for the Super Bowl in the NFC. And instead they kind of punted on an offseason. It's the strangest roster of like guys that are headed for the trajectory is the Hall of Fame. They've got 5 of them or 6.
Martin's going to be a Hall of Famer. CeeDee's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Dak
Micah
could
Parsons.
Be. Parsons headed as that way.
Parsons could be.
I mean,
Parsons. I think
Parsons headed that way.
Absolutely.
Like you got to stack seasons, but it's the early parts of their career certainly would validate that.
I mean,
and they didn't try.
You got 2 corners who combined have 29 interceptions over the last 3 seasons. One of whom, and both of them have only played 2 seasons. Bland's legitimately only played 2 seasons.
Right.
And Trayvon Diggs only played 2 games a year ago, and they have 29 combined interceptions in 2 seasons.
I know it. It's
now,
the
we won't have
damnedest
Bland
thing.
in this one, and they're going to be starting a rookie
fifth
rounder.
That's it right there. You just said rookie 5th rounder.
Starting.
This is a team that can go.
Starting.
But they didn't.
They let Stephon Gilmore go.
It's wild.
They let a third of their sacks and pressures from a year ago are gone. Here's a stat that will blow your mind. We'll get to this matchup later on. But Micah Parsons is the only player on Dallas that had 5 sacks last year.
Wow.
Only player on their roster. DeMarcus Lawrence had 4. Odigizua had 3. They had Dante Fowler was on this team, gone. They had another defensive end who got hurt, gone. Another one who also left in free agency. Like, they've lost a ton. And their real additions are backup defensive tackles who are veterans, Jordan Phillips, Linval Joseph, and Eric Kendricks, who knows Zimmer obviously very well, but is now in his 10th season with 8 straight 100-tackle seasons. But it's
just strange. It was a strange offseason
It's
approach.
super top-heavy. And here's the other thing. I was going through this. Tell me if this is weird to you. This is just an overall comment in general. So your first-round pick is Guyton. You're trying to find a tackle, replace Tyron Smith. Get it, totally. And Smith was a right tackle in college, if I'm not mistaken, and moved over to left with Bill
familiar,
Callahan.
yeah.
Only 14 starts there. Your center of the future was a guard and tackle in college. Your second-round pick, Marshawn Nealand at Western Michigan, his peak was second-team All-MAC last year. He has 13 sacks in his career in college. Your third-round pick, one of them was Cooper Beebe. The other was Maris Liufau.
Sure.
Liufau. What do you think FOW is? Foul or foe? Foul.
Yeah.
Liufau.
Okay.
Liufau sounds better.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's their third-round pick out of Notre Dame, a linebacker. His big season was last year. He had 44 tackles, 6 tackles for a loss.
Yeah.
Their picks are their 5th round, their corner didn't have a pick in either 22 or 23 at Wake Forest. Their 6th round receiver, now it's again 6th round receiver, but from Southeast Missouri State had like 800 yards.
It's a very puzzling offseason based on who's on their roster. It's staggering to me that they haven't done Dak, that deal's not done. It feels to me like they're trying to make Dak and Mike McCarthy, like, prove it. McCarthy, fine, but, like, you're going to make Dak prove it? Like, what do you want? I don't understand it.
I talked to
they won the division.
I talked to my buddy Vince, and I was like, it's Dak. I was like, Dak is so good. And, you watch some of his highlights, and then you go into the numbers, and it's incredible how good he is. And he's like, he's just another Romo, can't win the big one. They got smoked last year. I said, smoked in the playoffs? Yeah. Where was your defense at? I'm pretty sure they hung like 50 on him. The Packers annihilated them.
Yeah, it was like 49-28.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah.
I'm like, Dak threw for 403 yards and 3 touchdowns in that game, completing 70% of his passes.
Yeah, not on him. That ain't on him, man. Yeah. And so it seems like Jerry's trying to hold his feet to the fire on it. In the meantime, he could lose him for nothing. And then he's going to have like all of these guys who are like headed towards gold jackets and try to find a new quarterback.
Yeah.
And they're too good to be bad. They're not going to pick one, so they're not going to get Ewers or Shedeur Sanders. Yeah, it's strange. It's a very strange roster. Boost your game day this season with Bally Bet Sportsbook app. Place your first bet of $25 and you're going to get $150 back in bonus bets. Bally Bet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. It is a Mailbag Thursday edition. Tweet your questions into Gibbe at Browns_daily, and we will get to those coming up at 2:30. Coming up next, oh, baby, NFL predictions. Be bold, boys. Be bold. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, when a medical mistake causes you injury, call the medical malpractice attorneys at 1-800-ELK. Ohio, Elk & Elk is a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns.
All right, before we
get
into this.
Go ahead.
People need to understand that at the end of the year last year, I indeed did win the over-unders, which was lovely.
Well, I know you won the over-unders last year.
It was close, though.
It was tight. It was tight. It was
at the very end.
Yeah.
You were 69 games over 500,
mm-hmm.
and I was 68 games over 500 at the end of the year last year.
Picking every single game. So we'll do the scores tomorrow. So that was you're welcome. I hope the first year of college free is nice for your children.
Feels like it should
hope
be
that
a wonderful
tuition
thing.
was free.
Doing it for the children.
For the kids. For the kids.
I'm
gonna be honest with you. I would put, since you and I have been doing this show in 2018, this is our first season doing this show, I would put our record picking every NFL game against the number up against anybody who's done it.
In the world.
In the world.
Yeah.
Like, no kidding. Like, that is not...
Not normal.
That was a great year.
Do you want to know them all?
Through the year,
them all.
we have never been even really near 500, and we've never...
I've got them all.
Yeah. Well, we could save it for tomorrow.
Okay.
Big boy tease for tomorrow.
Huge.
Looking way ahead. How did we do last year on our... How did we... We don't have to go through all of it, but did I have Kansas City over San Francisco in the Super Bowl last year?
Let me look. I know that
I had those
you
two
had
in
those two, which was very good job out of you. I was, I had some predictions that just didn't quite get where I was looking for. You had Kansas City winning.
Okay.
I had Watson as the MVP, Browns winning the Super Bowl, Chubb Offensive Player of the Year, Garrett Defensive Player of the Year, and Coach Stefanski.
Nailed it.
2 out of 4.
2 out of 4? What do you
2 out
want?
of 4.
What do you want out of the kid?
Yep.
What do you want out of the kid? All right, we ready for this?
I'm ready.
No, but
why not?
I thought it was a good idea today. I'm like, I'll have time at some point to fill this out.
No,
We're good.
I got time.
And we went to break, and I was like,
I better do this. Better do this. All right, you ready, gentlemen?
Sure, why not? Let's have us a little fun.
All right.
I couldn't save this for tomorrow, given everything that we do tomorrow.
Yeah,
it's
so
a
much
full
more.
day tomorrow.
It really is. All right, go ahead, Gibby.
All right, gentlemen. Time for the individual predictions for the 2024 season. And besides, Gabe made a great point. The season starts tonight, not Sunday.
It does.
So technically,
it starts tonight.
We need to get these in prior to everything kicking off. Your coach of the year prediction. And, I mean, if you'd like to put Coach Stefanski in, I was going to eliminate him from this contention.
He's not going to win it.
Given the fact that they never give anybody a repeat.
No. Here's what you have to do on Coach of the Year. You have to think about it from the standpoint of find a team that's a little off the path who could ascend. For example, like I think the Chiefs are going to be like 14-3, but Andy Reid's not going to get Coach of the Year. So with that being said, I'm going to go Mike McDaniel, Miami, as your NFL Coach of the Year. Mike McDaniel, the Miami Dolphins, is my pick for NFL Coach of the Year. Dr. Z?
Zagora?
So I got a couple in mind, but I think I'm going to go with Peter LaFleur.
Peter LaFleur. You can dodge a wrench, but can you dodge a ball?
It's a question on everybody's mind. I was thinking about DeMeco Ryans, but
it's
I
hard.
feel like they're kind of like too obvious.
One of the next one is biggest surprise, and it's like they're talking about all the teams that I think the secret's kind of out on some of them.
I'm going DeMeco Ryans. He came up short last year. This year, he ends up with it.
Okay, all right, very good.
Onward we go. The biggest surprise team this season.
Like the playoff surprise team?
Could be anybody. Like in a positive way, because obviously the biggest disappointment is up next.
Go ahead, Dr. Z.
I think the biggest surprise team is going to be the team that I just spent a lot of time watching on Hard Knocks. The Bears.
Yeah, I put them too. I don't know if they're a surprise anymore because it seems like a lot of people are picking them, so I struggled with, like, is that a surprise? Like, I think the Chargers are going to be really in the mix with Harbaugh, and I also like the Ramets. So I think those two might qualify too, but a rookie quarterback and all of it, I think Chicago's really good. So I had them as mine as well, but also thought of the Rams and the Chargers here.
Gibby?
I'm going to do something dumb, but
baby.
that's all right. It's not the first time, and it won't be the last. My surprise team is a team that's going to repeat this year in the NFC South, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh, God.
Putting the Maloik on them.
There you go.
How about it?
Hey.
Hey. Come on. I think I like the Falcons in that division.
Biggest disappointment this coming season.
I'll go here. The Buffalo Bills are not making the postseason. They will be the biggest disappointment. Too much. I mean, go look at – they are so reliant on those tight ends and Allen, and they need Cook to be awesome. I don't see it. I think Buffalo takes a step back. And I'm betting on people being healthy in New York. But, yeah, I got them taking a step back.
Zagura.
The Steelers. I think they're going to be dreadful. It's going to be awesome.
Are you hoping or?
No. If I was hoping, I would have said the Ravens because I think relative to current expectations, the Ravens might be considered a bust, but I still think they'll be good enough to make the playoffs, if that makes sense. Like people have them as the best team.
I'll tell you one I considered.
Kansas City.
I'll tell you, I think that the team we play Sunday's got a chance to be this.
Yeah. Just their roster makes me very uncomfortable.
Strange. Yeah.
But when you have the quarterback and you have CD, you're going to be in every game.
Yep.
I'm going to throw another wrinkle in your way.
Let me hear the 49ers. Put Kyle back on the hot seat.
Nope. I'm going to ride this horse. The Green Bay Packers are going to be the most disappointing team in the NFL in 2024.
Right. There you go.
Everybody's got them going. Sims has them in the Super Bowl.
Well, I got winning coach
Sims
of the
has
year.
never missed anything ever. So why would?
So don't.
I guess you should just put all your.
Stop it right now, then.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
I don't think they're everything everybody thinks.
Okay.
This is probably a bigger question for Z, but I'll open it up to the two of you. The Fantasy Player of the Year.
That was a new category for this season. I like that.
I'm going to speak it into existence, McCaffrey. Because in the one league of mine that matters, I picked him number 1, so let's go.
All right. I'm going to do – you're going to say C-Mac? All right. I'm going to do like a little bit more of a less –
we have a fantasy preview coming up in the second hour, too.
Yeah,
a little less obvious one, but is still obvious. I mean, he's a top 5 pick. I think Breece Hall is going to be – you know how much I've liked him from the day that he entered the league, but I think Breece Hall is going to be the answer.
That's the guy I had down in honor of our intern Gabe, who took him number 1 in his fantasy draft.
I like it.
So, there's that.
Okay.
Offensive player of
Hold
the
on a second.
Yeah.
This is from Jay Morrison. The Bengals, remember I made fun of them walking?
Yeah, they banned
it. So they're now not allowing pictures or videos to be taken on public sidewalk from the practice field side of the streets. How could they possibly
can't do that.
ban that?
It's
It's a public street.
It's a public
Build it
sidewalk.
over or under, you bozos. That's
So
hilarious.
nuts.
That's
You guys are
great.
crushing it.
That is great.
That's awfully thin-skinned.
Quite.
By the way, how about the guy that got – I mean, obviously said some silly things, but was the guy who was entrapped fired?
Fired, yeah. Nailed him.
Yep.
Probably deservedly so. Rightfully so. Offensive player of the year.
Well, I'm big on Miami in the East, so I'll go Tyreek Hill here.
Reek. I like that one. I will go with CeeDee Lamb.
Do it.
Gibby, I'm writing all these down on that spreadsheet, so you don't have to write them down.
Did McCaffrey win this last year?
I don't know. Did he?
Offensive player of the year. Hold, please.
Or was it CD?
Hold, please.
Or Tyreek? I don't know.
Come on. Don't fail me now. All right. Here we go.
McCaffrey.
McCaffrey won
Gabe
it.
says he won it.
There you go.
'Cause that was going to be my guy to repeat.
2023 Offensive Player of the Year. Yes.
I don't know. I'll get back to you on that.
Thank God.
Hold on. Let me tell you.
I'm not slow. We're slogging along here. And
Gibby, be ready.
It's my fault.
Gibby, it's not hard. I'm writing them all down.
Zagura's got them written down. All you got to do is say them.
Last year was Justin Jefferson. 2 years ago was Justin Jefferson. The year before that was Cooper Kupp when he won the Triple Crown.
I even feel better now that Tyreek hasn't won it in a while.
And the year before that was Derrick Henry.
Okay. So I feel very good about Tyreek Hill.
2000. Then it was Michael Thomas.
All right. I'll give you one.
There you go, Gibby.
Garrett Wilson.
Love it.
There you go. Love it.
I would love that. That would mean a lot for my fantasy teams.
Yep.
I have a lot of Garrett Wilson. Okay.
All right. On we go to the Defensive Player of the Year.
Miles. I'm not even rethinking it. Miles. He looks even better.
Go cry
this
some
year.
more, TJ Watt.
Yeah.
Suck.
Yeah.
Miles. And
it's hard to win it back to back.
The asterisk is going to be Micah because Micah's doing things. If he goes 13 again, he'll have 4 straight seasons of 13. He and Reggie White are the only 2 to start their careers with 3 straight seasons of 13 or more.
And he hasn't won it yet either.
He hasn't won. He's
So
the only guy with
he
more
would
than
be the smart.
He's the only one
play.
with more than 40 sacks over the last 3 seasons that has not won Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, they've kind of taken the returns, so it would make sense.
I think it will be.
But yeah, I'm with you.
I think it'll be Micah Parsons.
Onward to the MVP of the National Football League. Your predictions, sir.
Yeah.
Can we have a comeback player of the year?
I guess.
It's a real award.
I
Nick
know.
Chubb.
Yeah.
Okay, comeback.
Nick Chubb.
Yeah, Nicholas Jamal Chubb. If
Nick
you like
Chubb.
the
I don't know
full-
if he's going to get enough games to win that.
I do. I'm confident. I'm
well,
very
I guess
confident
Flacco
Nick
won
Chubb.
it.
Yeah, he played 5, so yeah, for sure.
I'm going with the much besmirched Deshaun Watson.
Gosh, MVP last year for Deshaun. This year, comeback player of the year.
That's right.
Yeah.
Crushing it.
I like Chubb. Chubb.
All right. Where are we at? MVP?
MVP.
Mahomes for me. I think it's kind of like what happened with Jordan. Like you could give it to him every year. Statistically, he was down a little bit last year. I think he goes nuts. I think they're
Xavier
whole
Worthy?
again. Yeah, they're whole again.
UNS.
No, I don't think Worthy necessarily, but he's got receivers he can trust. Hollywood Brown will get healthy at some point. I think he goes nuts. I got Mahomes, and I think they're going to be like 14-3.
Zagaro?
Jordan Love.
It's going to be
Probably
hard
get
to
some
do
good
when they don't
futures
make
on
the
that.
Playoffs.
That might be a good futures. There might be one of those.
Well,
out
one
there
of us
for the
is going to
kids.
be right, and the other is going to be very wrong about Green Bay.
Boy.
Either you're right and I'm very wrong, or I will be right and you will be very wrong.
There you go. Give it. Who's your MVP?
I was going between Mahomes and Brock Purdy. I'm going to go Mahomes.
Mahomes.
I'm like, who won last year? Oh, yeah, Lamar.
Purdy
Like,
deserves
isn't
a
one?
little-
Lamar's got as many as Mahomes.
Lamar's won 2.
It's time.
Yeah, Mahomes will get another one. He'll get back in the mix.
Yep. Next.
Sorry, I'm coughing up a lung. Division time. Actually, I'm sorry. What team will have the first overall pick in the draft?
New England.
Who will be the worst team? That's what I said.
New England. Really bad roster.
Patriots. Got into it last night on the preview show. I said, what about New England? Everybody's like, Carolina's the worst team right now. And I'm like, I don't think so.
I think it's New England. Plus, New England's division's harder. I mean, Carolina could win in week 1. They're at the Saints. They could win week 1 in a surprise. That wouldn't be shocking.
No.
New England's 8.5-point dogs at Cincy.
On to the division.
I'm gonna
Oh,
just to be
sorry.
different. I'm gonna take like a little bit more of maybe a surprise angle at it, and I'm gonna say the Raiders.
Oh, you love Minshew, though. You're always quick to talk about Minshew.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of. I've heard a lot from my sources. I've heard
you got Raider sources.
a lot of Devontae Adams will not finish this season as a
He just
Raider.
said yesterday he's very happy.
No, he said it's not. It's not exactly what he said. He said it's not true that I'm unhappy.
Yeah. Those who watch receiver would think differently.
They would know differently.
Yeah.
In fact.
Onward we go.
I'm just trying to come up with a team like them, the Giants, like a team that's going to be like, we're just tanking. It's
Saints
enough.
could be one of those teams.
Saints.
There's 4 or 5 of them that could off-road to a tank very quickly. Yeah.
All right, divisions.
Division winners, gentlemen. Your predictions.
Should we start in the NFC?
We can go to the NFC. The NFC Norris division.
Lions.
Same.
Dr. Z? Leos. Or Packers. You're all in on Packers. That's right.
Packers.
Packers.
The
Okay.
guys win an MVP and the other guys winning Coach of the Year. They're
Yeah,
gonna
that's
win
true.
their division.
They're going to win the division, yeah.
To the NFC East.
Eagles.
Same.
Same. Okay.
NFC South.
Atlanta.
Tampa Bay.
All right.
The NFC West.
Niners. Easy. Yep.
Okay.
AFC
Or
West.
NFC wild card. We got AFC wild card. NFC wild
you
cards
want
first.
NFC wild
Let's
card
finish
first?
up the NFC and then
Okay.
and
All
then
right,
matriculate.
NFC wild card.
You got yours ready, Dr. Z?
Let me take a gander here.
I got
I got
Packers. Packers as the just missed it. Ram it
You think the Packers are missing the playoffs?
No. In.
Oh,
they're
yeah.
the first wild card.
Okay.
Packers are in. Ramets in. Bears in. No Cowboys.
So I've got Detroit in, Chicago in, and Dallas sneaking in. No Ramit, even though I like Ramit a great deal.
Yeah.
I have Dallas.
Why not make it 8 teams?
I know, stupid.
I have Dallas. I have Ramit, and I have the Gutless Falcons.
The Gutless Falcons.
No Packers.
No Packers out.
I'm out on the Packers.
So you have a win in the division. He's got him not making the postseason.
Yeah.
This will be a fun back and forth.
If Jordan Love plays the entire season, if he doesn't get hurt, they're going to the playoffs. Jordan Love is a stud.
To the AFC we go. Let's start in the West.
Hold on. Who are your wild cards again, Gibbe?
Dallas, Ramit, Gutless Falcons.
I don't think they're gutless anymore.
I would agree.
That name's gone.
By the way, you're listening to ESPN 850, a good Karma brand station.
What a big B.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huge.
There you go. AFC?
AFC West.
KC. 14-3.
Unanimous.
I think they're
Chiefs.
going to annihilate that division.
Yes. AFC South.
I know that they're trendy. I just think they're good, too. So I got Houston winning the South.
I have Houston as well. I think we're crowning them too early. There's still a part of me that believes that, but I'm
The
like,
division's
they're
not great,
good.
and I can't get all over Colts.
I like their coach.
I got to see more
I
from
like
Richardson.
everything.
I like the Jags, too. I mean, the Jags are not a bad team.
No.
Who did you have in the South?
Houston.
Okay. In the AFC East.
Miami.
I have the Jets.
I like the Jets as well. And to the AFC Norris division.
The Browns for the first time ever.
Same.
That'd be
Why
right.
not?
I'm hoping against all hope that that's the case. I just think that the 3 teams at the top are all very close. Us, Baltimore, and Cincinnati plays a last place schedule. So I like Cincinnati winning the division. I like the last place
Can
schedule.
you just have fun? Can we just have fun?
I am
Can you
having
say
fun.
the
I got to
Browns?
sin. I got to
didn't
sin.
think that. I didn't think that was very fun.
By the way,
sin.
we have to add in on the idea. You're listening to 850 WKNR Cleveland.
Oh, I didn't add the Cleveland part? Sad.
Or No, I think you did Cleveland. I think you did
I did 850.
The WKNR.
Yeah.
I said a good Karma brand station. Oh, the WKNR I didn't say?
Yeah, that's
Eight-
WKNR Cleveland is actually like the ID part, but like we have like the whole 10
It's a bad job.
I thought you had it.
Terrible
No,
job out of me,
you're
Kev.
fine. You're safe.
No,
Sad.
it's okay.
No, it's
I only
pathetic.
texted Gibbs quietly and it wasn't going to make a big deal.
No, it's a fail. I've never missed that.
It's okay.
Small B.
You'll redeem
Small
yourself.
B.
Don't
All
worry. AFC wildcard teams.
The Bengals.
Yep.
The Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
And the Superchargers.
I got them just missing it. I think they could be. I'm really close with you on them. I've got us, Baltimore, and the Jets, and I have the Chargers just on the outside looking in.
No Ravens for me.
Same. I had Bengals, Dolphins, Jaguars.
All right.
Okay.
Your AFC. We'll go NFC first. NFC Championship prediction.
San Francisco over Detroit.
Rematch.
San Francisco over Green Bay.
Gibbe.
Philly over the 49ers.
Okay.
Your AFC Championship game prediction.
Well, I picked against them last year in Buffalo, and I will never not prognosticate Mahomes again. I think they're going to do all of the things, by the way, this year, which is, I understand not going on a limb, but no one's done it since the Packers in the 60s. I like KC over us. I think we get there to the AFC Championship game, but Kansas City.
I've got us over KC. Let's live.
Go ahead, Gibbe.
Okay. All right.
You got to walk before you can run.
I'm ready to run.
I think we make a significant playoff push. God, do I really want to pick KC to go back? That's my question.
Answer it.
But I can't bet against Mahomes.
Okay.
So I'm going to put KC
over.
And I've got them taking out. I think I've got them beating. No, I won't do that. Not on the radio.
Cincinnati?
I won't do that. No. Nope. KC takes out Houston.
Okay. Little run for
Maybe
DeMico
the
and the
Jets.
boys. There you go.
All right.
And then
Super Bowl.
I got KC. KC over San Francisco. Run it back.
Could you imagine if they lose that game 3 times?
Yeah.
I've got Niners beating. I've got the Browns beating the Niners.
God, the Pedro Bowl.
Pedro Bowl. We already know who he'd be rooting for.
He'd be rooting for the 49ers. The question is, if we won and that played out, would he ask you for a Super Bowl ring?
No, he would write him out of the will.
I think he would be duplicitous. I think he would root for the Niners to win and then come asking for things for you if the
definitely
Browns
needs an invite to the after party.
He would want
if
that.
the Browns win.
There's no question.
All right, give it KC or Philly.
Philly.
The
I
Eagles.
can't go 3 in a row. I just don't see it.
No one's done it.
No.
No one's done it. All right, there you go. There are your season-long predictions. We'll get into the matchup. Our offense versus the Cowboys defense coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, welcome in. Second hour of Cleveland Browns Daily. Mailbag coming up at the bottom. Give you some fantasy advice as well coming up. Now, though, we head to the podium presented by Vivid Seats. Purchase your official fan experience package today for the ultimate game day. Here is offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey.
Micah Parsons.
You're down.
I mean, how obviously you don't know much about how Mike might deploy him.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in a situation like that, how do you sort of operate, conceptually when you put a game plan?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's a heck of a football player. I mean, he's all over the field and does a lot of special things. He's unique in a lot of different ways. So, going into it, you got to try to just at times, map out all the different scenarios that could potentially happen and try to account for those things best you can. And I think that's all part of it is just, hey, playing a little bit of the what-ifs games that you try not to play sometimes so you're not chasing ghosts. But first game of the year, they can do a lot of different things. So we want to prepare of some looks that we've seen. We want to prepare for some unscouted potential looks on where he can be and what they can be doing with them, and just kind of make sure that we get our guys as ready as possible against a unique player like he is.
Is Deshaun for this opportunity? How his arm looked to you, and just how is it all coming together?
Yeah, I think he's excited to get out there. I think he's a competitor. He wants to be out there with his guys and out there playing ball, and he's looked like himself out of practice from what I've seen on tape from him in the past. So I think he just continues to progress and continues to kind of get back in that rhythm a little bit, and I'm excited to see him out there and excited to watch him kind of fly around and be himself, and that's all we want from him. We just want him to go out, be himself, no more, no less, go out, make good decisions. Everything else will take care of itself.
With Jedwell's working his way back, he told us yesterday that he's not going to start this week. So how do you feel about your situation at left tackle, and how have you seen Jack Conklin adjust to taking reps on that side?
Yeah, I mean that whole scenario. It's we're taking that thing day by day and kind of seeing where things shake out as we go throughout the week. But these guys have been working their tail off. Whether it's the guys that have been out there, whether it's Jack working his way back, so we're I think in a good spot in terms of whoever's out there playing for us. We just got to go out and do everything we can to make sure we're putting our guys in hopefully the best situations possible, whoever's up front, because they got a great front, and they do some good things from a personnel standpoint and a schematic standpoint. So whoever's out there, we got our hands full, and we got to make sure that we're putting them in the right positions and trying to do things to make sure that we're not stressing things as much as possible.
Sean to play like himself. You also want him to protect himself. What's that balancing act been like?
Yeah, it's when you got a quarterback with his type of ability, that's a constant battle and that's a constant balance. And it's like there is a time and a place to go out and try to make that play, or we're fine. Time and a place to go out and try to make that play and everything like that. But there's also a time and place to get down. So it is a balancing act for guys that, especially first game of the year, getting back and everything, you got those juices flowing. But we got to make sure we're communicating, staying smart, and it's a long season, and we're in game one, and so there is that definite balance. You're right.
Abel's been involved in a lot of areas, but he's really spent a lot of time with David Njoku. Just what can that knowledge do for David coming off a Pro Bowl season?
Well, I think I really truly feel like having him here is invaluable for Dave and for us as an offense. To have his mind as a defensive coach, defensive play caller, head coach, and everything like that, and then really taking that experience and taking time to learn what we're doing on offense, and now you could really kind of blend those two things together with that experience and what we're doing as a great teaching tool. That's been fantastic for Dave and been fantastic for obviously all of our players and for the coaching staff. So his blend of experience combined with, really taking the time to learn what we do and relating that experience with what we do is great and will just continue to help us as we go. I mean, he's awesome, and I've loved every second being around him.
Really good with quarterbacks playing off key, like Josh Allen, Cam Newton. What has your approach been with Deshaun Watson, and how have you gotten so good at coaching that style of quarterback?
I think like the biggest thing that you want to do for these guys is not take away their instincts. You know what I mean? And I think I heard a coach say one time that it's like, you got a box, and inside that box is, hey, your footwork, your reads, everything, just in the playbook is in that box. Well, some of the best quarterbacks that have been out there, they're the ones who are step out of that box, and those are the guys who make those plays work, when they step out of that box, either with a scramble or, hey, why'd you throw it there? That's not part of the progression. Versus, well, I saw this, or, just instinctually they have that in them. So there's that balance of staying within the system while also not handicapping them from what they instinctually do best. And so I think that's the big thing, and just understanding, there's going to be plays that, he's going to make some exceptional plays for us that no one else in this league can make, and he's going to be able to do that for us, balancing that with, hey, there's a time to throw it away and move on to the next down, so there's definitely that balance you got to strike with guys, because you don't want to lose that aspect of what makes them, special in their own way. And I think the great thing about Deshaun is he can do that outside of this, just normal system, and then he could get back and work a progression and rip it to an outlet or a third progression in the read just as equal. So I think it's just a balance you got to strike with these guys and make sure you don't put the handcuffs on them in too many ways.
All right, there you go. Offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey at the podium from earlier today. Time for your matchup, the Browns offense versus the Cowboys defense. And for the specifics there, we turn to Dr. Z.
So, number one, I like Ken Dorsey. Sounded like a man who was very confident. Gibbe, and you cut that. He talked for 16 minutes, right?
Yeah, he talked for 16.
And was feeling pretty good and had some high praise for Deshaun Watson, as you heard in there.
Absolutely.
Also issued a fine.
Someone said, how different does this year feel from last year? Yeah, he's in the middle of answering a question, and someone's phone goes off, and he doesn't break character. He doesn't break stride. He just goes, fine, and just keeps talking. It was.
By
good.
the way, that's an odd question to ask somebody who's wasn't here last year.
Yes.
Well, they're saying, like, the difference from last year, and he thought about it for like 10 seconds. He was like,
he probably thought, well, I wasn't here last
It's
year.
actually a
Can
really
I
good
say
question.
that?
And then he talked about how close this organization is. And
yeah,
he's like, they're my family. Like, all of these people are my family in this organization. And I feel that way, and I cannot wait to go to battle with them on Sunday. So
I like it.
There
I thought
you
it was
go.
a very positive presser. Browns taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas's defense last year, number 5 scoring defense, number 5 pass defense, number 5 total defense. They were number 5 in turnover margin as well. They were plus 10, 26 takeaways. They were top 10 in terms of opponents' first downs per game allowed as well. Middle of the pack on third downs, and they were, like the Browns, not great in the red zone or near the goal line towards the bottom of the league there. 46 sacks last year. That was tied for 13th. Now, they don't have a ton of those sacks coming back. I mean, you look on the defensive front, of those 46, you're only bringing back 22. A lot gone in terms of people who have departed this franchise or gotten injured this offseason. Great front. Parsons is elite. You guys were spoiled with Myles Garrett. They're spoiled with Micah Parsons. 3-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro. His sacks all 3 years, 13, 13.5, and then 14 last season. He had 91 pressures, which is just an absurd number of pressures.
That's a lot.
To put that in perspective, DeMarcus Lawrence had 47 last year by the same stat-keeping metric. So they've got Parsons and Lawrence on the ends. They'll play, a 4-down front typically. They've got Osa Odigizua. They've got some names on this team, I'll tell you what. Odigizua, who's a good interior pass rusher out of UCLA. He plays kind of like the 3 technique, or sometimes even the 5 if they get Parsons out in a wide 9. Mozzie Smith, the big man, 337 pounds, out of Michigan, their first rounder last year. He's the space eater in the middle. Second level, they've got Damone Clark, a 5th rounder from 22. He was Dallas's leading tackler in 2023 at 117 if you count special teams tackles. That was his first year as a starter. Not great in coverage, though, so that's good. They've got Eric Kendricks they brought in. He knows Zimmer, obviously drafted him in Minnesota. He's just a total pro. 8 straight 100-tackle seasons. The only guy with more of this Bobby Wagner who has 12 straight. And then they've got Marist Liufau. Jade's helping me out with that one. I'm going to just call him 35, I think.
I like that. I like it.
That's a nice play there by 35, Marist Liufau. There we go. I think I got it.
Liufau?
Say it with me.
Liufau.
Liufau. Marist Liufau.
Gabe
Rookie.
says it's Liufau.
Liufau?
He's laughing at you.
Is he? I'm reading that.
Is he a Notre Dame guy? I mean, if he may know. I don't know.
He might know. Is he a Notre Dame guy?
Oh, my roommate's a huge Notre Dame guy.
How does it say it again?
Liufau?
No. What is it again? It's Liufau.
Liufau.
If it's not correct, we'll make fun of him. It's fine.
Well,
if it's not correct, he's fired. So
this is all right. Their pronunciation guide. You guys tell me. It has Lee, all caps, so emphasis. Lee, O, which is oo to me.
I don't know.
And then FOW.
It's one of those ones you hear it once, then you're good.
Liufau.
Yeah,
that's what I'm going with now. Thanks to Gabe. All right. And then the back end. Look, Trayvon Diggs is coming off of major knee surgery. Only played 2 games a year ago. He did lead the league in interceptions in 2021. However, in 21 and 22, and in those 2 seasons, he had 14 interceptions. He also gave up the most passing yards and coverage of any corner in the NFL.
Yeah.
So a lot of feast or famine there. Former receiver in college at Alabama. The other side should have been Deron Bland, who led the league with 9 picks last year, 5 pick sixes. He's out. So the other side's going to be Kalen Carson, a rookie 5th rounder out of Wake Forest. They just traded for Andrew Booth, a former 2nd rounder of the Vikings, who's only played 78 defensive snaps in his career, and in coverage has given up 72% completions and 136 rating. This is not a great secondary. Malik Hooker had an interception last year, 12 for his career. He had 3 back in 2022. Last year in coverage, 80% completions, 118 rating. Jordan Lewis out of Michigan, the 3rd rounder from 2017, is the slot corner, and he's a good slot corner. Good player there. And then they've got Donovan Wilson, who's more of the box safety last year, 97 tackles, 2 picks for them. It's weird. They were super effective last year, and I think part of it was, Bland was so good. Their pass rush had more weapons than it has in its arsenal this season, but they still have Micah Parsons. They've got a very good Mike linebacker, and they've got a ball hawker in Trayvon Diggs. So for the Browns, you've got to take care of it. I like this matchup for us. I think it's going to come down to providing protection, but they can't cover Amari, Jeudy, Elijah Moore, Cedric Tillman, and the Chief. They just can't.
Nope.
That their linebackers are not cover linebackers, and I think the Browns have a real opportunity to take advantage of that in this game. Kevin knows Mike Zimmer.
Yep.
Mike Zimmer knows Kevin, but Mike Zimmer doesn't know Kevin with Ken Dorsey.
No.
And I'm sure there'll be some wrinkles with Mike Zimmer as he's evolved, but these are 2 people who know each other pretty well. I think Deshaun should have an opportunity to throw the football very effectively in this game. He's notoriously not a fast starter in his career.
Yep.
But we're going to need a fast start in this one to get it done. But I like the matchup. To me, it's like wherever Kalen Carson is, I'm throwing the ball there. If he's on Amari Cooper, if he's on Jerry Jeudy, if he's on Elijah, if he's on Tillman, I don't care. But he's going to be on one of Amari or Jeudy, I would say, most plays, and that's where the ball is going to go for me.
Yep. There you go. Good job out of you on the breakdown. We would be remiss if we did not acknowledge Andrew Siciliano.
Yes, of course.
So the reason that happened, Andrew's
going to
great
lead
friend
off
of the
with it.
program. We were going to lead off with it. We had it set up in that first segment, and then Jim came early.
Schwartz.
About 3 or 4 minutes early with his defensive coordinator press conference, and then we missed it. But Andrew Siciliano has been named the play-by-play announcer for the Browns. This statement from J.W. Johnson, Executive Vice President and partner. We were so honored to have Jim Donovan as the voice of the Browns for 25 seasons. We'll be missing him in the radio booth booth this year. Last season, we were able to bring Andrew Siciliano in for a number of games, and his passion for the Browns and this fan base shines through his commentary. Looking forward to having his voice lead the Dog Pound on the radio call during the 2024 season. Andrew had this to say: I'm honored for the opportunity, but wish the circumstances were different. Like every Browns fan, I was stunned last week when I learned of Jim's retirement. I know I have big shoes to fill. Jim's an icon, an amazing man, indelible part of this community. I'm so grateful for Jim for his gracious support last season. When I did a few games, we'll never forget sitting in the stands and listening to his call when the Browns clinched the playoffs in Week 17. So great stuff there, and he presided over some thrilling stuff. We relived those on Victory Fridays.
Yeah, with Niners, Colts, and then the record setter down in Houston.
Yeah, he had.
So yeah, he was good. Did not
good luck.
Did not see a loss.
Yeah,
and he's going to do a great job. Obviously, it's impossible shoes to fill with Jim Donovan, and as I said, he'll be in the booth with us no matter what. Even if he is not physically in the booth with us. But I think Andrew will do a great job. He is a Browns fan. He will have passion. He will have energy. Anybody who listened to his calls last year, he's in that way, I think, very similar to Jim in
very
terms
old
of his
school in his
old
approach,
school
I
in his
think,
approach and his style and the way he paints the picture, and that energy and that passion is all real. And I'm looking forward to working with him, in this capacity. I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. We had a good time last year in the games that we did together, and I think we'll have a good time again this year.
Your Fantasy Minute coming up next. Mailbag to follow. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Good school attendance, the foundation for student success. The Cleveland Browns Foundation, proud founder of the Stay in the Game Attendance Network, partnering with school districts in Northeast Ohio to dramatically improve student attendance. Visit stayinthegame.org to learn more and take action to support strong attendance. Your Fantasy Minute is presented by Scaleco, proud capital investment partner of your Cleveland Browns. Week 1 fantasy. Do you have some hard and fast rules about Week 1, Dr. Z?
I mean, basically, the guys you drafted to be your starters are your starters in Week 1. You know,
don't overthink it.
Don't overthink it. Look, matchups certainly do they matter? Of course they do. But the reality is, you're drafting people. You drafted people to be your starters in Week 1, and for the most part, those are the guys that should be your starters in this season. That's absolutely how I see it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's kind of like the end of the season too. Like if you make a long run. And people sometimes overthink it, and we always say, play your dudes.
Play your dudes.
Play your guys who got you there.
Yep.
All right, so here's my question. My follow-up is Week 1 more – is it overreaction Monday and Tuesday when the waiver wire hits?
Of course,
based
because
on what
everybody assumes that what happened in Week 1 is what's going to happen every week for the rest of the year, and that's not what happens. Now, sometimes you need to jump on it, like the Puka Nacua.
What is your best
jump on
Week
those.
1 waiver wire pickup of all time?
Anquan Bolden.
Peyton Hillis, Puka Nacua. I got Nacua Week 1 last year off the waiver, and I got Peyton Hillis Week 1 off the waiver. Those are and both ended up winning the leagues.
Bolden was a good one too. His first
Bolden
week was.
Yeah, he had that that was his rookie year, right?
Yeah,
and
he had like 200 something
opened
yards.
with like 200 yards.
Yeah, set all the records.
Yeah. It's if that's the other thing, like. The bottom that's probably the most important thing you can do in Week 1. The bottom of your roster might be some guys that it's a long draft. You're like, oh God, just whoever. Like, if there is a guy that pops, be ready.
If you have though, like running backs that you're holding on to because you think
not that,
hang on to them. And if you'd like to, or just give it a few weeks typically to see what's going on. I remember Dwayne Bowe, his huge season with Kansas
he had such
City.
an impact here.
I got his jersey. He did have a great season in Kansas City. I think one year he had like 17 touchdowns.
I think you're right.
And his first 4 weeks were not good. And a lot of people bailed on him. So sometimes you got to it just takes time. There are multiple seasons within the seasons. You got to just hopefully your guys are getting hot at the right time. Some quarterbacks I like better than normal this week that you drafted. Kyler Murray. I like that matchup for him against Buffalo. I think he's going to have to put the ball in the air quite a bit. I like Trevor Lawrence against Miami, same thing. Jaden Daniels is my favorite of the rookies early on, along with Caleb Williams. And I think Jared Goff against the Rams, I think that has the potential to be a very, very high-scoring game, so I like him there. Quarterbacks I don't like as much as normal, not that I would sit them, but this feels like they could be up 28 in the second quarter, and Joe Burrow is going to be, running the ball a lot, or it could be even not playing in the second half of this one. So, but other than that, the guys are the guys. All right, running backs this week. Guys I like maybe, again, like a little bit better. I think I like Joe Mixon. I think Aaron Jones is going to be actually pretty good there. I like Chuba Hubbard. I like Ramondre, especially to catch a lot of passes in that blowout against Cincinnati. Javonte Williams is getting rave reviews coming out of Denver, and I'm not afraid to buy a little Javonte stock. And then I like Zach Moss and Chase Brown both. I think they'll both do pretty well. And if you're in a league that's not PPR and focus more on touchdowns, Gus Edwards. Jim Harbaugh is going to run the ball. I know he's got Herbert, but he is still going to run the ball, and Edwards is a touchdown machine. Wide receivers, so many good ones. Of the rookies, obviously Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors, I'm starting right away. I'm huge on Jackson Smith and Jigba this year. Yeah, I really think he's going to kind of usurp and overtake Tyler Lockett this season and become a real dude for them. I like him a lot. I still find it hard to quit Jamison Williams. I think people like him a lot. Khalil Shakur in Buffalo is another guy that I think could have a nice week 1 as well.
All right, there you go.
And then we get a couple tight ends. Now, many leagues just updated Taysom Hill to being a tight end. That makes him certainly more intriguing, but some kind of sleepers I like for you this week. Tyler Conklin of the Jets. I think he's going to be pretty good. Brock Bowers, although the fans are clamoring for him to shave his head.
I saw that.
They said, just shave your head, bro. Let it go.
I don't think you have to go like straight edge. Like you could just go like Bruce Willis.
Yeah, Bruce Willis style.
Sure, that works. Sure. Jason Statham. Go with that look.
Yeah. So those are some of the tight ends. Otherwise, it's Kelsey, McBride, Laporta, Andrews, Kincaid, Ingram, Pitts, Kittle, Ferguson, Chief, Goddard, and Conklin, Bowers, Dalton Schultz,
a lot of good ones.
Freiermuth. I mean, those are the tight ends. Yeah.
All right, we'll hit your mailbag coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Bo here for my friends at the James B. Beam Distilling Company. Booker No's vision for Knob Creek was to be the embodiment of full-flavored American whiskey through age-proof and flavor to create a product that sets the standard. Knob Creek created to champion those who stay true to their craft, know what they like, and don't feel the pressure to conform. And in fact, this fall, don't forget about this. Take advantage. Knob Creek Steak Rebate. You buy Knob Creek bourbon plus a steak, anywhere you want, any grocery store. Just upload a picture of your receipts to knobcreeksteakrebate.com, and they're going to send you $20 right to your Venmo. Must be 21 to participate. See full terms at knobcreeksteakrebate.com. Knob Creek, Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, 50% alcohol by volume. 2024 James B. Beam Distilling Company, Claremont, Kentucky. Knob Creek. Drink what tastes right. Hello, Gibby.
Gentlemen, it's a Thursday.
Give it. Thursday.
I do want to. I wanted to say one thing. I want to thank everybody out there for their patience for the last week, especially the diehards that don't listen live every day. If you don't know, the podcast had some issues. It was a league-wide issue.
Right.
I think someone from the league left a little early for a weekend vacation for the holiday, and frankly didn't get everything figured out until yesterday. So all episodes are back up. All is well. Everything is there. You can listen to everything. So
you got through it, Gibby.
We got through it. We're going to get through this. It's mailbag time. You can tweet your questions to @Browns_daily. David tweets the show, mailbag. What is your pregame meal and beverage? This week will be a little different with a 4:25 kickoff and Zagura getting there at 6 a.m. for live hits.
6 a.m.?
It's going to
That's
feel
really
like
early.
10:30.
6 a.m.'s early.
We're on countdown still 10:30 to noon.
Are you sure?
On News 5.
Are you sure?
I think there's got to be a rehearsal in there.
What's that?
I think there's got to be a rehearsal in there.
You're definitely, you always need a rehearsal, right? I mean, that's part of your ethos. Just get yourself a rehearsal.
I do not rehearse.
It's so funny. I just do that to people. Say, let's go ahead and do a rehearsal. Let's do it once live. That's honestly that's I forget the guy's name. Bill
O'Reilly.
Bill O'Reilly. I can't remember his last name, but
we'll do it live.
Every radio show I've ever started, I start with do it live. But that really came from TV because people would say, "Hey, let's do a run through. Let's do a rehearsal." No.
Yeah.
Turn the light on. Let's go. Look, I'm mixed on these. 425 is a tough because you kind of wait all day for it. I'm probably not going to watch a lot in the 1 o'clock window. I'll probably watch the start and then watch like the golden hour on the red zone leading into the 4 o'clock. So that's kind of my plan because I got to have a little bit of a break because I really want to watch Sunday night. What we will do is it's going to be probably the full like Super Bowl type spread. Like you're going to have all that type of stuff is what I'm going to do. So the boys love the sub sandwiches and that type of stuff. So we'll probably do a little bit of that, some wings, that type of stuff. That's what we'll roll with.
I'm probably going to have a protein bar and beef jerky is my guess. And maybe
sometimes it's a little rough.
Maybe some questionable chicken.
Yep. Very judicious with the liquid consumption because once kickoff happens, I don't leave my seat till we sign off after the game ends.
Yeah.
Got to hold it, kids. Got to be aware.
Russell Wilson limited in practice today. Some tightness in his calf. Mike Tomlin said he's going to the doctor to have it checked out. They are at Atlanta, which is the spot that we thought Fields would be a good spot for him, but could be Fields this weekend.
Joe tweets at the show, for all of you, you can only choose one for Sunday's opener. Got that, Z? One.
Yep.
Miles, 4 sacks. Deshaun, 2+ pass touchdowns. Dak, 2+ INTs.
Deshaun.
I would agree. I would say probably if you're saying outcome of the game, Dak throwing 2 picks probably makes it much more likely that we win the game.
Yeah.
But I think that based on that this season's about Deshaun, I would like to see him get off to a very, very good start.
Preston says, I got to enjoy my first legit steakhouse experience at Jeff Ruby's this past weekend.
Good for you.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
What's your best steakhouse experience? What did you get?
My best steakhouse experience ever?
Boy, I've had a lot.
I mean, I've had a lot of very good ones. I still think the best steakhouse is in my kitchen. And I've had amazing bison tomahawks. I've had amazing Wagyu ribeyes and tomahawks with great bottles of wine that aren't marked up 5 times.
Yeah.
It's been really good. Ruby's does
Jeff
a great
Ruby's
job.
crushes it. The one in Columbus is amazing. I've eaten at the one in Lexington. I've eaten at a BLT steak in Scottsdale that's incredible.
Mastro's
is great. Eating it there in Palm
Quality
Desert.
Meats in New York is
I've eaten at Peter
phenomenal.
Luger's. That was a
Phenomenal.
unique
Peter Luger, sure.
dining experience.
Burns Steakhouse in Tampa.
Burns Steakhouse is another fantastic.
Is he running
one.
a business?
Yeah, he's locked
nothing.
in. He's got a Carolina blue and a gray pant.
Well,
yeah.
I'm
going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Most steakhouse experiences, if it is a steakhouse of a certain reputation, is similar and great. I've never been to one that had a reputation where I was like, oh, they blew that. They're great. Now, I'm with you. Sometimes I feel like I can do it better because I make it to my taste and those type of things, and I don't get the crazy markup. But most of the experiences are great. Like, I like to go with
STK is the only place that I've been to consistently where I've been like, it is not as good as the prices would indicate.
I had an experience like that once at Mastro's, too, that it wasn't.
Really?
Because they hit you with an uptick on that.
I've
eaten there twice. Twice in the desert, and once it was great, and the other time I was like,
Segura had a crazy prime rib at what is it, Jerry West Steak?
Prime 44.
Here's
the only problem with that prime rib. The meat is nothing to do with the meat. Their au jus.
Oh, I remember this because I had it too.
Is like thick.
Yep. It was
and
very
viscous. It's not an. I need to dunk it. It's just an au jus.
We're just dipping. That's all I'm doing. It's just
a broth,
juices.
basically. It's a
all I
juices.
need. Yeah.
Au jus, not paste.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it was the au jus is a big part. Like, I like the au jus. It's part of my experience.
Well,
I make a great homemade au jus.
Yeah.
My bag juices.
Zane Brown tweets at the show, everyone's saying DW4 needs to just play okay in order for the Browns to be a contender.
No.
Considering his contract, what should be the expectations be? Number one, the contract should have nothing
I don't care about the contract. He can't
needs to
be
be good.
If we're going to, you have us winning the Super Bowl, I have us in the AFC Championship game, he's got to be great. He's got to be great to do that. So if that's what if we're trying to do that, then he's got to be great.
Agreed.
He's got to be what he was, in the second half against Baltimore, what he was in Houston. If he does that, then all things are possible.
He's great. And
just okay.
If he's okay, well, I'm going to define that quarterbacks 14 through 22 in the NFL. If he's just okay, we can go to the playoffs and
10
probably
and 7.
End with a whimper. If he's good, so that'll be, we'll call it quarterbacks like 9 through 13.
Mm-hmm.
We can win the division and make a deep, deep run. If he's great, top 8 in the league, we can win the Super Bowl.
There you go. Riley Borders, do you think there will be more than 2 kick return TDs in week 1?
Ooh, I like that.
I'm going to go under.
I'll go under, but I think 1.5 is a good number.
Yeah, they picked a good
I
number
think there
on that.
could be one. I think there will be one.
I don't think anyone's shown you anything in the preseason, so I think you're going to
No.
see much more explosive plays coming out of it by the time you get to the games this weekend, including the one tonight, which we will pick coming up next. So much more to come. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, join Z and Gerard tonight, 7 to 8, Great Road Tavern. The regular season debut of the Kevin Stefanski Show. Stop out and meet Browns quarterback Jameis Winston. Enjoy great specials for Bud Light. This will be
Yeah. It's going to be electric.
pure joy.
Yeah. And he's
Jameis in the wild.
And he's a food connoisseur. He's
2 minutes.
He's
2
a
minutes.
restaurant.
He's a gulper
critic.
of life is
So
what
I
he
can't wait
is.
to see what he has to say.
Yeah, he's great. That's fantastic. And by the way, go out there, Great Road Tavern, then you have a few Bud Lights, and you can watch the game because you got games tonight. Thursday night. Thursday night football, kids.
Oh,
Hello,
baby, do you? It's going to be great. I can't wait. I'm so excited for this.
It's go time, buddy.
Well,
yeah,
it is go time. Score number 1.
Baby.
On a Thursday.
Do we have to explain or just catch up when you catch up? Let's just catch up when you catch up.
It's a Thursday.
It's a Thursday.
It's the Baltimore Ratbirds on the road.
Inverted.
It's the Chiefs hanging banners, trophy presentation, all of the pomp and circumstance, rings galore, all the fun and
Taylor
frivolity.
Swift, everybody's there.
Taylor will
It's
be
all
there.
the joys you could have ever wanted.
Yep. It's the Chiefs.
1 minute.
It's the Ravens.
The Ravens are coming into this one singing the song, Who's Afraid of Little Old Me? Are the Chiefs? No, not a little. And they're going to take the Ravens too lightly on a Thursday. Yeah. Ravens, 30.
Yep.
Chiefs, 4 on a Thursday.
Ravens by 1 billion. I'd be shocked if Kansas City even
30,
shows
30.
up. Honest to God. Revenge, this will make it right for the AFC Championship game from a year ago. Ravens by 1 billion on a Thursday.
They're going to be wondering with the Chiefs, are we out of the woods? Are we out of the woods? Are we out of the woods? Are we in the clear? Are we in the clear?
15.
Are we in the clear?
We're back tomorrow on a Football Friday. Next Level's coming up next. Thanks for listening, everybody. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.